Hello, hello, and welcome everybody to the Coaches Lounge. Yours truly, your host, Barbara J. Beckley. Every time I have this show, every week, I always get so excited because I get a chance, yes, I get a chance to meet, first of all, celebrities. I get a chance to talk, have a conversation with them, and then I give a chance to bring them to you. So maybe, just maybe, after you listen to these wonderful coaches, these wonderful mentors, these wonderful consultants, they have different titles, but each title that I mentioned is helping individuals get to the next level in their life. Everybody, I always tell everybody, you all need some kind of coach, either in the health area, the mindset, personal, image, visibility. I mean, and the list goes on. There's so many different types. And when you're thinking about your life, you have to say to yourself, what do I need? Not just yourself, and you're building yourself up and investing in yourself. You invest when you do bring in coaches and mentors because they're helping you get to that next level. Even sometimes we forget who we are sometimes and be like, I don't know if I can do that. Well, that coach comes in and says, well, yeah, you can, and I can show you, and we're going to work with you with this. Well, should I do this part or what should I choose? Well, maybe you should choose that. See, they give you those options to really think about it and then work things through. And they're wonderful accountability people, believe me. Some people, I'm just thinking for me, because I can be too much accountability. They'd be like, okay, Barbara, I'm going to do it. Okay. Because most of the time coaches are believing and they see some things in you that you might not even see yet. And they know the potential. They know how you can be a giant in the world. They know that you can be a lighthouse in the world. As I tell people, you're a lighthouse to the world. So with that, you need to be, molded and nurtured and just to be pushed a little bit, right? I mean, people pushing me all the time, and I'm so glad that they did. So with that, we have another wonderful, and I call the women queens and the men kings. So we have a wonderful, amazing queen, and she is royalty, and she is a celebrity. She's probably like, wow, bro. Yes, I'm putting it out there. Mrs. Queen, I'm going to say just like Queen, Michelle Clarkson. Yes. She is the founder and CEO of Meaningful Moments of Power. Just the title of what she has to me is like, wow. When I first read it, I said, ooh, this is going to be good. So she basically helps people, helping high functioning women navigate life transition by reclaiming their voice. See, I always love that already. Confidence and self-trust so they stop operating in autopilot. Set healthy boundaries. You see, I'm yelling out some of these wonderful words that are important, and make aligned decisions without guilt. Without guilt. So we are going to really get to know this person. I just read just a portion. There's a portion. She has so many other that we're going to hear about, characteristics. But just what I read about, see, you can see how this wonderful queen, she's working with others because she believes in you have a voice. See, it's a lot of things. See, we kind of go one together because I believe in the same thing for people. And I'm loving that she's working with people in that area because everybody, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too, has a voice. But we just have to learn how to put it out there and have confidence in doing it. So with that, I'm not going to say anymore because about her and it's not about me and going into that. Let's do this really quick commercial, and then we'll be right back with the queen herself, Queen Michelle Clarkson. We'll be right back. Listen, we are back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Barbara J. Beckley of the Coaches Lounge. And I am here to spotlight experts, as it says below, advice for life and business, and to really give shout out to these wonderful coaches that are helping people in their lives gain and move forward. Like I said, moving that needle in their life. So we have Mrs. Michelle Clarkson, and she is a queen. And she got that crown. I know you probably like, I can see it, but you got to tell people it's there. And I just, first of all, before we even start our conversation, lady, I just really, really, truly appreciate you being on the show. I always tell people, and I even told Queen before we started in the virtual green room, as I call it, that time is of the essence, and for her presence to be here today and take the time out to really so we can get to know her, I appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate the time to be here and be here with your audience.
Oh, and it took. I'm just gonna be totally transparent because that's what we do here at the Coaches Lounge. It took a minute. It took some life things going on back and forth with both of us. But I said the universe is gonna come together, and we gonna get this interview because I was just so excited about it. And I said, usually when things happen, I always say to myself, when things happen like that, I know it's going to be something powerful because, some just keeps, that resistance. And I was like, no, we gonna do this. So we're here today. And Queen Michelle, I just want to say for you helping out people, and I want to get more in detail about what you do in your coaching and helping and consulting people, especially when it comes to their voice and building confidence in them. But I have to give you so much gratitude for that because there are a lot of people that feel like they don't have a voice, or the voice that they have, they feel they don't know where to maybe put it or maneuver with it. Because I had that problem when I was younger. So I always, when I see coaches like yourself come and trying to help, especially women, I really want to just say thank you so much for that because we need more of you. We need to multiply you because it's much needed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to ask, I always like to pull the curtain. I always say that to see, okay, now you the celebrity, you've been doing this thing for a while and you've been helping a lot of, but where did it all start from? Where did in your mind just say, okay, I want to do something like this?
Yes. Well, for me, it all started, I think the fact that as I look back over my life, I'm like, you know what? You've been a coach your whole life and a mentor, that person that people always go to as a voice for support and advice. But just life and some challenges that I had to overcome in life. I am a domestic abuse survivor. And after surviving domestic abuse and having to rebuild my life through therapy and my faith in God, so I made it through that. Then ended up getting married and going through an unexpected divorce in a city where I had no family, no support system. So it's like yet again having to rebuild my life, reclaim my voice. And so it was going through those transitions where I really knew that I wanted to give back and help women. And as a struggling single mom after divorce, I was also navigating corporate America. So as a woman who survived abuse, divorce, and 25 plus years in corporate America, but not just 25 plus years, but working myself from the bottom all the way up to the top, I had to really learn who I was and how to use my voice. And so because of that, in going through some of those life transitions, there were also periods where I wasn't confident. I didn't trust myself. I lacked boundaries. And so as a result, I became disconnected with myself. And being able to put those pieces back together, doing the work, I then said to myself that I want to be the person that helps other women, but I didn't act on it. As we always do, we say these things that we want to do and we don't do them. And my father was a big supporter of my life, and he passed away in 2022. But one of the things that he had said prior to passing away was, you have to use your voice. And it was that, last moment of him saying that to me where I was like, okay, you know what? No more excuses. The time is now. So that is what really pushed me into my coaching business and making things happen.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like we're sisters because everything that you talked about, I've been through something similar. And I think either I tell people that's when you make choices is either you're going to go the route and be the victim and be like, oh, well, I went through all this. I'm just going to just deal with this and, move forward in whatever I'm doing. Or say, you know what, I want to do something. I want to be
Yes.
an advocate in this. I want to help others. I don't want other people to go through or feel like they have to go through what I went through, and
Yeah.
that's when that extra oomph. And then with the dad coming in, see, I know
Okay.
you like after that, you're like, oh Lord, I got
Right. Then it's like, okay, look here now. You have no choice now. You have to do something. So it's like, yes,
this
yes. And
is
I love how you said the victim piece
yeah.
because, in life, we will go through things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're someone who hasn't experienced a trauma as serious as abuse,
Mm-hmm.
you will go through things in life.
Yeah.
And when those things happen, we have to know how to pick ourselves up and go from there. And I say all the time, being in that abusive relationship was the best thing that could have
Mm-hmm.
ever happened to my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not a victim, but
Mm-hmm.
someone who survived and came out stronger. A woman who went through that and came out understanding what self love is and how important that is. A woman who was able to understand how you have to believe in you and your confidence really dictates a lot. It
Yeah.
helps you with your voice, how you show up, all of that. So, like I say, no, not a victim, but so thankful for those dark periods because they wouldn't have brought me to the light where I am today.
Yes, yes, Queen. I'm so glad that you are just a light. Like I said, you're a huge lighthouse to the world because you're making your light shine, just not for yourself. Like you said, it starts with you. I always tell people that, but then you're making it shine and helping others through your light. And I always tell people when you go through certain things, I always say the winds, the earthquakes of life, that it's stepping stones of strength. So each time you go through something that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this kind of thing, right? It
Mhm.
just brings you to another level of strength within you that you probably might not even knew that you had. I know there's a lot of things that happened to me just similar to what you were dealing with, Queen. And I look back sometimes like, wow, I really was a bad person there. I was a good person because I was like, okay, not
Mhm.
saying that we didn't have the pain, not saying that we wasn't sad, not saying we didn't cry sometimes, because some people be like, okay, superwoman, and all that. I said, oh, I love the superwoman thing, but yeah, we got to be real too. I mean, we have to
Mhm.
be human. We're
Yeah.
going to go through that part, but we didn't stay in it. We didn't just continue just to move in and linger in that. And that's
Mhm.
what I love about, what you do and what you teach others. Any type of, they have to build that up and navigate through life. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love what you say that, those things that we go through, when you go back and you look back over those things, sometimes you're like, wow, I can't even believe I did that. And I tell women all the time, you are stronger
Mm,
than you think.
mm,
It's just that when we're going through things, sometimes that end, we can't see the end. But as long as you just keep taking that step and
mhm,
each day saying that, hey, I'm giving my all, I'm going to be better, everything ends up working out. It always does. Because everything that is happening to us is
mhm,
happening for us.
mhm.
But in the to us, sometimes we just can't see, what that beautiful blessing is going to be once we make it to
Yeah.
the other side and get through it.
Yeah. I like how you said in the midst of happening to us, we're kind of like, okay, what's like? I gotta see, how like I always tell people, you can see the light in the tunnel, the old saying and stuff. And some people are like, okay, where is the light? I got a bic on. I got
Mhm. Yeah.
trying to see through this. And sometimes it's not like that, where it's just like real dim, and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And but you still get through it. And
Mhm.
I love how you said, and a lot of people just can't say this, Queen, when you mentioned the fact that I really appreciate, those winds and earthquakes that I call in life happen to me. because this is where I am today. And I say the same thing. Some people look at me like I'm crazy, Queen. Like,
Okay, they do.
you was really like appreciating all that, don't you? Did abuse and them talking about you and getting beat on and stuff. You really like all that? I said, okay. First of all, no one likes to get beat on.
In the midst of it, no.
No. No, it's not like, oh yes, then there's another problem with me if that's the case. But
Right.
it was part about coming out of it. And I always call it transferable skills from what you went through. And when I say transferable skills, because like you said, Queen, going back to what you teach about, it's building up your just perseverance, is building the courage, is a lot of, like I said, some things you didn't know that you even had until you went through certain things. It's strengthening you even more. It's showing you like, okay, if I went through this, me being in corporate or working my own business or whatever, it's like
exactly
get through it. And
that's nothing.
I was like, this is not compared to, do you know what I did?
Like, that's light work. I can handle anything. And also one other thing that it does is when we go through situations, and it doesn't even have to be those things. It could be something that's happening on our job.
Yeah.
Just the fact that we're working so hard, or we're working so hard because we don't realize it, but you're in this performance strength where you're just trying to prove yourself, instead of just being able to say, I know who I am. I just need to do what I do. And then that's that. So, there are things where we go through things in life, but then those things that you go through, they help you to understand your value, who you are, and what your gifts and your skills and abilities are. Because sometimes it's when you're in the midst of those things where you learn the most about yourself and the things that you didn't even realize about who you are. And that's what you take forward.
Yes. Yeah. And I love that, Queen. Thank you for that. That was so good. I was just thinking when you were saying that, when we dealt with things in our life, and like I said, those little, I call them transferable skills, is you're in corporate or, working your own business or in corporate. I kind of say both because there's a lot of people that's listening in both ends, that when you see others and they're maybe struggling in certain areas of the confidence, or they're struggling trying to work harder, or every time some corporate says a new rule or whatever, they're like, oh my God, da, da, da. And you're just standing back like, this is, like you said again, this is nothing compared to what we can be going through here. So that's where you can help others navigate through things. I see myself doing that because I have a day job too, not just my business. And I work in corporate. I find myself helping people navigate through certain things. And then some things, after I talk to them about it, they be like, well, now that I think about it, Barbara, that was kind of petty. I was getting all
Yes.
But I tell them that. I mean, I said, okay, but
help them see that.
See that. There's some things that we need to deal with more than just, okay, they took a day away from us for the year. I mean, you get all caught up in that. It's like my other managers used to always tell me a long time ago, when people start complaining, and some people get mad at her about this, they said, oh my God, they did this and they changed the rules and now I got to go over here and this on and on and on. She's like, you got a job? They didn't fire us. They didn't
down to the little things. Yes, you have a job. And I always tell people too that the things that we go through and things that happen, just like that example, it's all about how we respond to things instead of reacting to things. It makes a difference, and it sounds so cliche, but when we take the time to just step back and respond, just like you said, hey, I have a job. Okay, new rule. I might not agree with it, but guess what? I have a job. I'm thankful and appreciative of that, and I just keep moving. Instead of reacting and then spiraling and going all crazy, because guess what? Rules are rules, deadlines are deadlines. You can't change the rule anyway.
Yeah. Like you said, if you have I always tell people, when you don't have control over certain things at all, I mean, why I said there's so much time, like I said earlier, you can't get back time. So I want to spend time on things that changes can happen. I can help myself grow. I can help other people grow. I can show them, just like what you're doing, Queen. You're helping women just function, navigate through transition stuff. That's the time you want to spend on, not sitting here talking about, okay, they took away a day. And what am I supposed to do? It's just like, no, it's becoming, you start, like you said, the boundaries. And I want to get a little bit into that. You start creating those boundaries in your life so you can move forth in the right manner.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, Queen, when people come to you, because I know you deal with those high functional women, when they come to you, what is like the first thing that you kind of work with them with to get them to, the journey that you want them on?
Yeah. So the first thing usually is, depending on where she is in her life, because sometimes some women come to me because they are just so overwhelmed. There's a disconnect, but it's from their careers. They don't realize what's going on. And so that high achieving woman that's performing but has disconnected from herself because you're carrying the weight of so much. So that's one thing that a lot of women that come to me, whether it's in their corporate life or in their personal life, they are just exhausted. They've lost themselves, lost their voice. And then they're the women that don't really trust themselves. And they're navigating through life, spending a lot of time overthinking, second guessing all of their decisions. And eventually what that does is it just starts eroding at their confidence, who they are. So it's usually a mix of, just that overwhelm because you're carrying so much. And then also that disconnect, because along with that comes those behaviors of the people pleasing, shrinking ourselves, the doubting. So all of those things. So then being able to help them have a mindset shift. It's all about, what we think about and the things that we say. Yes. And people don't realize how critical and how important that is. Like, yes, I'm a CEO, but everyone is a CEO. You are the CEO of you and your life. And so when I tell women sometimes that I'm a leadership strategist, and if she's coming to me and she's feeling like she needs help in her personal life, I hear all the time, well, I'm not trying to be a leader. Well, you have to be a leader. If you can't lead yourself and lead your life, that's going to carry over into every area, whether it's personal or professional. So just having that mindset shift for you to realize how important you are, and that, yes, you are the leader of your life. You control your actions and how you react. How you respond to things. And like I said, not react, but how you respond to things. So just having that shift, and then it's like, the light bulbs start going off. And then I also work with women to kind of focus on like 5-step power method. Each woman that just kind of helps them. So no matter where you are on the journey, if you're someone that's struggling with not having strong boundaries in place, helping with that, because boundaries are so important. And we hear that word a lot, and people think that sometimes boundaries mean, well, that's to keep people away from you. No, boundaries are just a way for you to protect your peace. But the most important thing that boundaries do, they teach people how to treat you.
Yes.
So we have to have those boundaries in place, but I think that there are times where we also feel like, oh, I have boundaries in place. Well, you might have them in place, but they may not be strong enough.
I'm glad you said that, because I even had to say that to myself. I said, some people are, Barbara, you need to put more boundaries in your life because you got a lot of stuff going on. Well, I got boundaries in place. And then I had to think about it, Queen. I said, yeah, but I'm not making sure that they strong enough. And I keep going back to them saying, okay, I need to keep this here. I need to stick with the boundary, not sit there and be like, oh, well, I'll let them in. This, okay, I'll give them this one more time. No. If you said you're not taking no calls after 5 o'clock, don't take no calls after 5 o'clock.
Yes, that's it. And I always say no is a complete sentence. Okay, no is no. And then that's the thing too, when you have firm boundaries in place, the one thing that it prevents you from doing is you don't feel guilty when you say no to things, or when you stand firm on whatever it is you believe.
Yeah. And
So
like you said too, Queen, you're teaching people how to treat you. And I say that a lot now, it's more and more now than ever, that you have to do that because other people are going to do, because they need what they need. So
oh
they're going to
yes,
do what they have to do. And they're
yeah,
not, the last thing they're going to be thinking about sometimes is, okay, well, I want this from Barbara. I want this from Queen Michelle. And I want to try to do whatever I can. Well, no, Queen Michelle has some boundaries and I can help you, but in this area right here. And
Mhm.
people have a tendency of doing that. And if you open the door, they're gonna just I'm telling you, they're automatically. And sometimes they don't mean, I don't want people thinking that everybody's a meanie. It's not so much of that.
No,
It's just,
yes,
if you open that door, people are gonna walk in because they want and they're trying to learn and grow too.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
And
that's
then when you do enforce boundaries, and then depending on how that person responds, if it's something that they have a problem with, then that is your indicator right there that your boundaries that you thought you had in place
yeah.
weren't firm enough. Because now that you're enforcing them,
Mhm.
that's why that person is like, whoa, wait a minute, who is this
Yeah.
person that I'm dealing with? It's like, yes. So that's how you know that your boundaries are working.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I hit that too, Queen. I just did a few days ago with a client because they were thinking I was a 24-hour person that anytime they had a question or a thought or whatever, they can just text me at any time. And I was like, well, no, after this time, I'm not gonna respond to you until the next day because I have to
Mhm.
do things and I have to get some rest, just
Yeah.
like we all do, right? So they
Hmm.
text me at 12 o'clock midnight, and then the next morning they text me again. They say, "You didn't get back to me, Barbara. I had a question." I said, "I told you I don't take texts after 9 o'clock at night. I mean, I see the text, but I'm not going to answer it until the next day." And she was like, "What? I cannot believe." It was just.
But now she's aware, and look, I guarantee you, she won't send that text at midnight again.
Or if she sends it, she knows she's not
She'll
getting
have
a
to wait.
response until the
Mhm.
morning. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, but like you said, you got
Mhm.
you got to show people. Sometimes you got to show people more than tell them, because sometimes you could tell, and then they still kind of not get it. They still, okay. Let me push the needle still a little bit more. But then when you show them, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I get it now.
Mhm.
You got to be.
Absolutely. Okay. It's like, yes, I have no problem saying no.
That is, it's a complete sentence. A complete
Yes.
sentence.
Yeah.
So, Queen, this has been amazing. I mean, there's so much to unpack with you because you just do so much. And I feel like we just got the surface of some things. I love conversating with you. And I'm just going to tell everybody out there, because I do this. I used to say, you need to do this. But I said, no, I had to suggest. I can't just tell people what to do. Somebody told me a long time ago, Bar, you can't tell people what to do. You can suggest. So I suggest that people please reach out to Michelle Clarkson. She is amazing lady. You see that she understands, she has a connection. And that's the biggest thing. When you can deal with a coach and a consultant, and they already have the connection that you might be dealing with certain things. She understands about building confidence. She understands about shifting that mindset. She understands all of that because all her life she's been doing that with people. If you need that, or if you know somebody, reach out to please Queen Michelle. So she's I'm telling you, she's amazing, amazing. So Miss Michelle, I want to take myself down because I want you to leave any lasting thoughts that you might have for the audience, and then we'll make sure they know how to connect with you. So I'll be right back.
Awesome. All righty. Awesome. Well, I have just enjoyed today, and I just want to, for any women or woman that's out there that has been listening to our conversation today, one thing I just want to share that sometimes we experience a crossroads in life. And just because we may be at a crossroads where we feel that there's a disconnection from ourselves or we feel like we've lost our voice, we're not broken. And sometimes we just need some guidance in those steps to help us remember who we are, how important we are, and navigate how to get back to walking in your power. We all are powerful, we all have gifts, but it all starts with just taking that step and remembering who you are and how important you are. And so if you're someone and you've been dealing with a lot and carrying the weight of everything, second guessing things, doubting yourself, just know that there is something else on the other side of all of that, waiting for you just to tap back into your power, rediscover who you are, start trusting yourself, walking in your truth, and I guarantee you that you will be blown away by just that shift that you can make in your life.
Mm, beautiful, beautiful queen. See, she's beautiful outside and inside. You know, some people say inside out. Well, she's both.
Thank you.
You're so
I have
beautiful.
enjoyed this.
Love your
Yeah.
spirit, love your caring, love your nurturing for people. Just love what you're doing. And like I said, it's been an honor. I knew this was going to be. I was like, yes, this is going to be an awesome interview.
Absolutely.
Just talking
Yeah.
with you and just learning about what you do for others. So again, I'm going to put down so people don't have an excuse to well, you didn't put down yet. There you go. This is how you reach out. She has a link tree. Please reach out to that. I'm keeping it on the screen for a minute here so you can write it down. Take a picture. I always tell people just take a picture. It's easier than trying to scribble it down. I mean, that's why we have phones.
Yeah.
So you can click.
Click, contact me there, or feel free to reach out to me on my socials on Facebook, LinkedIn at Michelle Clarkson. But yes, there is power inside of all of us, and just waiting for you to tap into it.
Mm-hmm. So with that, I just want to say again, this queen, wonderful queen, thank you for being on the Coaches Lounge. And everybody else, if you're just tuning in again, I just want to let you know that you make sure that you are doing the best, investing in yourself the best that you can, because you deserve that. Everybody, I always say, has that gift in them. And sometimes you just need to nurture it out sometimes. And sometimes you need maybe a little push, a little help, a little encouragement, a little teaching. And with that, that's why I bring on these wonderful coaches, because I really want to first spotlight them, because I want to give them their love. I want to give them their flowers, as they say, while they're here helping others, because it takes a lot. It really takes a lot to make sure you're taking care of yourself. Then you're like, I got to take care of all of my other people that are around me and I'm coaching. But we love that because we like to see people in their light shine in their lives. So with that, we will see you on the next Coaches Lounge. And again, always believe in you, because you are that person that you're the only one that can do it for first is you. So with that, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Yes.